Hello, this is Miss Butterfield. Today I'm going to show you kids the Enlarger and what's going to happen when you go to make your first print or proof sheet or a test strip. So this is what the Enlargers look like. There are a couple different components that we'd like to highlight. The first thing that I like to show is actually this is your baseboard. And usually the baseboard has an easel on it. This is where you're going to put your photo paper into so that it makes a nice, clean, crisp print. You also have a piece of glass. This part of the Enlarger is called the head of the Enlarger. It's where the light bulb is. When you go to move this, you will take it by the back to move it either down to make a smaller print or up to make a larger print. There's a handle on most of the sides of them, and this is where you're going to load your negative. You just lift this up, and inside here is the negative carrier. And you can see there's like a little window, and your negative strip will sit in this area, and then you close it to keep it nice and tight. Make sure these are lined up, and you'll notice a couple notches at the top. These notches get carefully slid into the back screws here, and it kind of slides in, and it doesn't snap or click or anything. It just sits in there nice and straight, and then you close the Enlarger head. Once that happens, you'll be able to turn on the light of the Enlarger, which will be hard to see here, but if you turn it on, you can see in my hand the light is on up there. But you should see a nice even square of light here on your page. The timer is another thing that we should talk about. This is how you're going to do your different increments of time to determine what time you're going to expose, how much time you're going to expose your negative to the paper, depending on if your negative's a little dark or a little thin. It's going to be a different time, and you'll do a test strip to do that. But you always want to check that the timer has an on-off switch here on the back, so if it's ever off, you just want to flick it on. And the other setting that you want to check for is you want tenths of a second, so you'll just touch that button to where it says 5.0. The numbers move by the dials by seconds, and we always do 5-second increments to start. And then the other buttons that you want to check, this, it does make a beeping sound. You want to turn it off so that it doesn't beep and scream at you. And then the other two, one of them is set for timing. The other one will turn the Enlarger on the entire time to keep the light on so you can focus and really make sure your negative looks good and is lined up and cropped correctly. The other button is what you're going to do once you figure out the time that you're going to expose your photo paper to. You'd put it on the time, and then you hit the bar, and you'll notice the timer starts to count down. It'll turn the light on and then off in that however many seconds you have it set for. So that is basically your Enlarger. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Oh, the focusing knob. When you go to focus, there is a knob on most of them that are on the right-hand side. A couple of them are a little different, and we'll show you those particulars when you're here in school. But the focusing knob is on the side, and you'll just focus until you see it nice and crisp on your easel here. Okay, let's put a negative in and see what it looks like. Okay, so what we're going to show you now is how to actually load a negative into the Enlargers. Remember, this all has to happen with the red lights on. You're going to carefully open the Enlarger head again by holding the front and lifting up the handle. And then you're going to pull out the negative carrier. Okay, and then it has two pieces to it. Most of them are broken, so they're actually like separated here. But what you want to do on your negative, you want to have the shiny side up, but then rotate it upside down. So there's one part of the film that is really highly reflective. You'll see like a real shiny sort of glisten to it. The other side is a little bit duller, flat. You want the shiny side up, it's kind of curvy, but just turn it upside down. And here, this can be a little tricky, this part. You want to get the notches, the notch edges here on the top and the bottom of the film underneath those silver notches on the negative carrier. And then what you're going to do is carefully put the top part on and sandwich your negative into the negative carrier. If it feels like it's puffy or bubbling up, that means it's not underneath correctly. You want it should feel nice and flat. There should be no opening here between the top and the bottom. And you can actually see, I'll show you on this red light, you can see your negative in there, and you just want to make sure it looks even. You know, you don't want to see the other negative coming on the other side. You want it to look nice and neat and straight in here. You're going to clamp it tight, and then you're going to put it into those notches in the back of the enlarger. Close the head always. And then on the timer, again, you're going to turn the light on and keep it on by hitting this button on the right-hand side at the bottom. And then what happens, you should see your image pop up on the baseboard or on the easel here. And you want to take the lens, because just like on your cameras, these enlargers have a lens, and you're going to open it up to the brightest setting, which is, you're going to go from, if it's dim, to the brightest setting. You're going to open up so that you can focus. So you can see this is clearly not focused right now. It looks fuzzy. So I'm going to take the knob on the right side of the enlarger and just slowly move it until my image starts to look nice and crisp in front of me. So now after I focused, it actually made my image a little bit smaller, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it fills the space of my easel here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you'll notice even when I zoomed in, now I got to refocus again. So if you move the enlarger head a little bit, you're always going to have to recheck your focus. So that's how you load a negative into the enlarger.